Hello, jumping right in again today. No face cam. I feel like it's been a long time since I recorded. I should have checked. I recorded this once and then I stopped, not liking how it sounded, and started again. While I was in between takes, I should have checked to see how long it's been. I did that one video last week. Sorry, I'll learn how to speak someday. I did that one video last week, but there was literally no voiceover, no face cam, nothing. It was just some music and a speed build. I've not been in the greatest place mentally lately, and physically my daughter was really sick there for a little while, and I was in an incredible amount of pain, and so it was a bad time, and I think it's getting better, at least for now. So I'm back to recording again. I'm back to making content. So let's talk about this house and look at that roof. Look at that thing. I think I was trying to create side dormers on it, but it was not working well at all. It was pretty awful. It was really awful. I don't know, even looking at it now, like usually looking at it in playback, I can say, oh, well, I should have changed this or I should have done that. But even, with this one this time, it's like I can't see what I could have possibly done differently to make that roof better. It's an awful roof. It's plain, it's boring. It makes the entire house look boring. But the thing about it is, it's accurate to the style of house that I was building. So sometimes, especially if I've been on like Realtor.com or Zillow or something recently looking at houses, I get stuck in this like all I can see in my head for starter type homes or empty nester type homes is these, I don't know what they call them. I always call them prefabs. I don't think they're prefabs. They might be, but I don't think they are. I think they're actual like stick homes, so to speak. But they were built in the 1950s, post World War II here in America. They're all very similar. They're one story. They have very tiny bedrooms. By today's standards, you would definitely not be able to fit a king size bed in any of them. Like, you could, in the smaller bedrooms, maybe just barely fit a twin size bed and a nightstand. Usually, that's how these bedrooms in these 1950s houses are. If I'm not mistaken, the government came in and built them all. And like, you can't find them everywhere. You can only find them in certain areas, but in those areas, they're incredibly common and they're just everywhere. But they're almost like prefabs, and they're these tiny little 1950s houses that were built for returning soldiers and their families and whatnot. Back when apparently people in general were just like, I don't know, they just didn't take up much space, I guess. I don't know how else to phrase that, because these houses are tiny. Look them up. Go to any like rural town that is near a base town and look them up, because you will find literally tens, hundreds of them. and they're 1,000 square feet or less, if that helps you imagine the sizing of these things. They are 1,000 square feet or less. Usually 99% of the time they clock in right at around clock in. What the heck? I can't even get my phrases straight anymore. They measure in at around 900 square feet. So yeah, they're little. They almost qualify as tiny homes. And the only reason why I'm drawn to them is A, they're super cheap, and B, most of them need heavy renovations at this point because they're 70 years old now. So they need heavy renovations. Man, someday I will learn how to speak. I will. I swear. Not today, but someday. And the idea of taking one of these little 50s houses and turning it, modern, or updating it to still keep the charm of the little tiny 900 square foot 50s house, but also add, more modern aesthetic and conveniences to it. I don't know why. That just really appeals to me. Probably because they're cheap houses. And like really cheap houses, and they're what I can afford. So, the idea of taking something like that and bringing it back to its glory, if it ever had any glory to begin with, just is very appealing to me, I guess. So, I may not be able to fix the roof, but right here, right now, I can tell you that I made a huge mistake in making that entry hallway massive like it is, and making the living room as massive as it is. Those two rooms are way too big, and it would have dramatically reduced the cost of this house. And the challenge was to make a small starter home on a single Sims just moved in budget, right? So Grace here started with $18,000 or 18,000 simoleons, and that's what I had to work with. And we all know, like, if you play The Sims, the pricing of things is weird. It's weird at best. It's weird. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes. So, it's hard to decorate. Also, the other thing was I wanted to mainly use base game stuff, but kind of wanted to include a little bit of the new little camper set. And I thought something that went really well with that is the backyard stuff pack. So I included that as well. In the end, it literally turned out to be mainly base game with just a couple of little items in the backyard from those two other packs. So if you download this and play it and you don't have either of those packs, you're literally only going to be missing a couple of decorative objects, and that's it. You'll see in a minute, because 99% of the rest of this stuff is, in fact, if not all of it, is all base game. So it works with the base game. But the bad thing is it's not very well furnished, and as I go along, I end up having to delete some of the stuff that I put in there to get more money back to finish stuff. So that's the bad thing. I really wish I would have made that front hallway and then by extension the living room significantly smaller. I think that really would have helped the budget. I don't know why I make living rooms so big. Maybe because my living room in real life is enormous. It's obnoxiously enormous. It's not fun enormous. It's not comfortable enormous. It's obnoxiously enormous. There is just like so much wasted space because it's also an odd shape on top of it. So it's like way too much space. Kind of like this living room is now. And I wish I would have brought that back. Oh, for a second there, my computer screen shut off. That was weird. So anyways, yeah, it's not well decorated inside. The outside definitely looks a little better in the end than the inside does. Not that the outside is decorated perfectly either, to be honest, but I gotta take credit where I can sometimes, and this one didn't turn out terrible. The landscaping and whatnot, very simple, definitely matches the house. I guess the only other thing that I would do is put this house on a significantly smaller lot. That would probably help the cost of it as well. And the landscaping would look a lot better because I wouldn't be trying to fill up all this massive amount of space, which is kind of what I was doing with all of this stuff, was just trying to figure out how to fill up the enormous amount of space that was just everywhere, because I tried to build the house to fit the size of the lot. So that was my mistake. I tried, I failed on this one, but that's okay because it's a good starting off point. It's not a bad house, it's not a bad little setup. And it's a really good starting off point for a single sim. And the only thing that isn't here is maybe some career objects or some skill objects. And that's really about it. That's really all your sim would need, is to add a couple of those things in, and it would make it a lot better. We're coming up on the end here, and as always, I will give you a little music guided. Oh, I guess we have a couple more minutes, maybe. I don't know. I can't tell time anymore. I will do the music guided walkthrough at the end, like I always do, or maybe just screenshots this time. I haven't recorded that part yet, so either way, it'll be music guided. Okay, here it is. Here's the part where I use 2 items, I think, from backyard stuff, and then 1 item, but multiples of it, from the new Little Campers kit. Here, I was trying to cover the whole back wall in the lights, only to realize about 3 in that the lights cost $200 each. That's what I mean when I say the pricing of stuff is so incredibly weird in The Sims. That little section of string lights there, or fairy lights, or whatever people are calling them these days. Back in my day, because I'm old apparently, they were just called string lights. I like fairy lights better, to be honest, though. It sounds more magical, so maybe I'll go with that from now on. But anyways, that little section of fairy lights should not have costed $200. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. That was like a huge amount of money just for the 3 pieces that I kept. So, yeah, that was a little annoying. And then from the backyard stuff, I used the little, what is it, like lemonade? Is it lemonade? some kind of like drink set there that you can make drinks, and then the bird feeder. Someone remind me, do birds actually show up to that bird feeder? There is an object with one, like perfect patio or backyard. I'm not sure which it is, but with one of them, there is a bird feeder or a bird house or something. Oh my god, my dog. Or, see, this is why I need to learn to shut the door when I'm recording. There's something that birds actually show up to and use. I thought it was the bird feeder, so I thought I'd use the bird feeder, but maybe it's not the bird feeder. Maybe it's the bird house. I don't know. And we're at the end, so